Hello, and our next CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity is Old Hartgrove Farm, Green Lane, Shaftesbury, SP70AX. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. Now, the borrower on this project is Hartgrove Development Limited, the company number 121943336, and Edward Hughes is one of 5 directors, with the remaining 4 of whom are silent investors. Edward's with us here on this webinar. Welcome along, Edward. Tell us a little bit more about your background and maybe a little bit about the other silent investors.
My background is quite varied, but I've been doing building work for a while. We've done sort of three projects so far, all smaller, but I suppose it's all a case of scaling up the same knowledge. And I guess in terms of the other investors, they're family and friends investors, and for a smaller part, we're putting in the principal amount of the investment, my wife and I. And I guess to give investors comfort in terms of me having not done a project of this size before, the biggest risks of the project have already been covered off, which gives quite a lot of comfort. I've got a great team in place and a great network of local trades. So, for example, if we lose any trade or need extra manpower to stay on schedule, I've got a kind of large address book to pull on. And as well as that, I've got significant experience in project management from the smaller builds I've done and my time in finance before that, where I managed sort of up to 20-person teams on 6-month projects.
Let's have a look at this project then, and it's phase 1 of a 4-phase raise. CrowdProperty has agreed a development loan of £1,964,799 for a term of about 18 months. This first phase is for £700,000, and interest is going to be paid at the equivalent per annum rate of 7.5%. That is deducted from the raise and retained. Let's start off by finding out then a little bit about the local town of Shaftesbury.
So the local town of Shaftesbury, it's a market town, famous for Gold Hill, the site used for the Hovis advert, Britain's favourite advert apparently. And there was actually a 2020 Rightmove article listing the 10 most popular towns for property searches in the whole of the UK. And the 2 local towns to our project, Shaftesbury and Stamford Newton, actually both made that top 10. And demand in the local area has been, I think unparalleled. Most properties coming on, and I think decent and sensibly priced is usually going within a couple of days. So we're sort of confident that we're building the right thing in the right place at the right time.
Planning permission has been granted by Dorset Council. Their planning reference is 2/2020/1025/FUL. That was to demolish the existing agricultural buildings and to build 4 dwellings with associated carports, curtilages and access. Conversion of existing barns to carports and ancillary space as well. The build programme itself is about 12 months. Projected practical completion date is the end of June 2022, but the maximum loan term is for up to 18 months from the loan commencement date. The exit strategy is that the borrower intends to sell the units, and the project will be first charged and secured at land registry. Here is the location plan for you. So we're down on the sort of south coast, or towards the south coast. We're down in Dorset. You see Yeovil on the left hand side. We're just to the right of that by way of location. On the map on the right hand side, you see where we are in Shaftesbury in particular, with the CrowdProperty flag pointing at the site. So the site is approached off Green Lane. It's a quiet rural lane, easy access to the local towns of Shaftesbury and Sturminster Newton. Local amenities nearby include Bristol Airport, which is just a short drive of 45 miles away, and Gillingham Station is the main line into London. That's about 6 miles away as well. Local interest includes Shaftesbury Abbey, also Old Wardour Castle, and there's also an area of outstanding natural beauty at Cranbourne Chase. So here's the site plan then. The proposed development is 4 residential dwellings. How did you come across this project, Edward?
So it was a fortunate find. The owner is the sort of daughter of the pattern who used to farm it, and she needed to get the money to buy the shop she's run for a long time. I was just there, sort of right time with the cash to move quickly, so we snapped it up, and that's how we bought it.
Now, there's various plots on this particular site then. Talk us through each one of them individually, and of course we're starting with plot 1.
So plot 1's the smallest of the units. It's 3 to 4 beds. We went for the look of an old farm building, large openings, high ceilings, arrow slit windows, building it out of local stone from the Marnell quarry. We're using reclaimed double Roman clay tiles on the roof, and the windows are sort of Crittall style aluminium. It's single story, so we're targeting families, but also potential retirement as well. Then this is the farmhouse. So the overall design, if you sort of remember from 2 slides ago, is very much trying to create the look of a sort of old farmyard. So we're sort of rebuilding all these buildings to try and create something that looks as it would have been. So this would be the farmhouse set slightly to the one side from the rest of the buildings. And it's got all wooden windows, large sashes to the front. Again, the local stone from Marnell, slate roof. One update here is actually we've just had a design update, and that porch is now a stone porch with a sort of reclaimed cut stone arch as the entranceway. This is a family home. It comes with over 1,600 square foot of outbuildings as well as an acre of land. Then this is unit 3. This is the first of 2 modern barn conversion style units on the site. Properties like this have been incredibly popular in the area recently, selling very quickly. So sort of the design aesthetic here is very much a modern barn conversion, but obviously we're building it from scratch. It's anthracite aluminium windows, large glass openings, lots of light. Timber cladding, we're using a pre-weathered slow-grown larch. The roofing's a trapezoidal anthracite steel. So this is very much a family home, and it comes with 630 square foot of outbuilding and about an acre of grounds as well. Then unit 4, this is the biggest one. Same design aesthetic as unit 3. It's a 5 bed, so larger than the others. The entranceway is from the east elevation, and you come into a sort of double height entrance corridor. It's very sort of cathedral like, and then into double height living space. And again, the timber cladding on the outside and the aluminium windows and steel roof. There is a double carport that comes with it, as well as a lake and 1.5 acres of land. In terms of the high ceilings and stuff, we're going with underfloor heating throughout and high levels of insulation, which is what allows us to have the sort of large volume of cubic feet, and allow for that sort of big light open living space without compromising on running costs.
It sounds a lovely location. Here's the elevations. Talk us through this.
As you can see, the local stone, wooden shutters, reclaimed double Roman clay tile roof. We've got that sort of arrow slit window on the right there. The windows are Crittall style aluminium with sort of arches to the north where the best views are. And there's a sort of wraparound garden with a sort of large area of orchard and paddock to the north. And it's a sort of traditional looking building with modern materials. This is unit 2, the farmhouse. Stone elevations. As I mentioned, we've done a design change. That porch is now stone entrance porch with a reclaimed stone archway. All local stone from Marnell again. Large wood sash windows on the front and wooden casements to the back. Garden sort of wrapping around all the way, and large outbuilding set sort of nearby. Unit 3, the more modern, one of the 2 more modern ones. The timber, we've spent quite a bit of extra money pre-weathering it. So we're using a high quality, larch, slow grown. But my issue with that is that I'm not a fan of asking buyers to buy on imagination, but to buy on what they see. So putting up larch and then telling them it'll look lovely in 5 years' time when it's weathered, I think is not acceptable. So we're using a specialist Swedish product that pre-weathers the timber evenly all round and gives it a nice sort of silvery appearance right from the start, which is a great product. Unit 4 here. Again, the same aesthetic, same products apply, except this one's double height. It's very much the high ticket item on the site. Large crystal windows to the south elevation and the main living space, which bring in tons of light, and then a large set of bifold doors with glazing above to the north on the best view. We've very much focused on privacy between all the different units. So there's the only second floor bedroom in this one doesn't overlook the rest of the site. And that's something we focused on a lot through the project. So we've done a lot of banking and banks with small hazel fences on top with hedging planted on top of that. So there'll be privacy from the start on this project between all the units.
And so here's the proposed development then, each of the plots there with the different square footages and the estimated values of each of those. Who are you targeting as the person to come and buy these particular properties from you?
So families very much a target market. Obviously, at the moment, a lot of those are moving down from London, so targeting that market. We've also, partly for privacy and partly for sort of lifetime design, a number of the properties you'll notice is single story. So we're also targeting retirement market as well.
I've got a couple of case studies I'd like you to talk through as well, please, Edward. This is a former squat, which is quite an interesting thing because it became a luxury flat. What happened?
Well, we found this opportunity just as certain parts of East London were on the rise, and managed to snap this up on one of East London's most desirable streets, Broadway Market in Hackney, and bought it for next to for very little anyway, and did a full refurb on it, and got a very healthy 70% return on our investment on this one.
Then the second case study is a derelict Georgian pub. What did you do here?
So again, this one was a sort of forgotten and unloved property. So bought this, and this was as well as a refurb, a full refurb, and sort of insulating underfloor heating, and fully taking away all the rot and the damp and everything that was there. We also built an annex to sort of enlarge this property. Obviously not quite the 70% return that we had on our London project, but still a healthy 42% return.
So returning to this project at Old Hartgrove Farm, the phase 1 raise is for £700,000. That's part of the total facility of £1,964,799. RICS verified the current market value at the start of this project to be £750,000. The day one gross is £486,000, meaning an initial loan to value of 64.8%. The remaining funds from the first raise, which is £214,000 for construction costs, has been accrued to date. The remaining loan is drawn in stages upon the completion of the independent monitoring surveyor's reports. Estimated conversion costs coming in at £1,439,799. The total GDV verified by RICS is £3.5 million. Loan to gross development value, excluding the interest, is 56.1%, and including the interest, 59.5%. The loan is for up to 18 months, and the exit strategy is to sell the units into the open market. Investors are going to be paid 7.5% per annum equivalent interest, with phase 1 retained. It is going to be secured also with a first charge security against the property. So your next steps are to make sure that you understand the loan. Please carry out your own due diligence and then decide how much you would like to lend. CrowdProperty.com is the place to be to pledge on launch. The necessary anti-money laundering checks will be carried out, and then you'll be invited to send your funds to your own online e-wallet when it's called for, and you'll start earning interest on completion of the loan agreement. So this is phase 1, where we're looking for £700,000, please, paying investors the equivalent rate of 7.5% per annum interest. It's the property at Old Hartgrove Farm, Green Lane, Shaftesbury, SP7 0AX. Thank you for watching this CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. We look forward to you joining us again soon for more opportunities back here at CrowdProperty.com.